Welcome back to the series, How to Hit Your Irons Longer and Straighter. Today we're joined by Nathan Lenhart, Director of Instruction at Tour Development Academy. Okay, Nathan. So, it's really interesting. I haven't worked with too many different coaches, so I'm interested in what your insight is of how to improve my swing.
Let's do it, man.
Okay.
Let's jump right in.
Okay, I'll hit a few shots first.
Nice strike. All right, man, so yeah, great swing. You hit a ball pretty solid.
Thank you, yeah.
Things that we can work on here though. Setup wise, feet are very, toes are very straightforward.
Right.
So especially when it comes to balance, we're gonna kind of maybe widen it, get the toes out just a little bit.
Right.
In the backswing, especially when it comes to your speed and distance, you really get a lot of like squatting move that happens, which restricts your hips. So we're gonna dive into kind of how to properly hip rotate. Okay, so that you're not, where you're not kind of like squatting down and jumping up early, losing speed.
Right.
Okay, so we'll get the feet, we'll move into the hip mobility, and then from there, we'll see where these hands are. We can get them a little further back and higher at the top. And then how to use the ground a little better in the downswing.
Sounds good. So pretty much every part of the swing. Okay, so what should we start with first?
Okay, so why don't you get in a setup? We don't need a ball just yet. Show me what setup looks like here.
Okay.
So we got a 7-iron. I'd love the feet just to be a tiny bit wider for me, please.
Wider?
So wider, yeah, exactly.
Why is that?
I want a nice solid base because for you especially, in the downswing, I really want to be able to get you to laterally shift, get into the ground, rotate, push off, all these things that if the feet are too close together, well, guess what? We start to kind of lose our balance.
Would you say this is a specifically more me thing, or everyone should feel a little bit wider on this?
Most players come too narrow. So a lot of people, like I'll see, they're gonna chip or something, they get the feet really close together. Even in a really small swing like that, the feet close together is just, we don't have balance there.
Yeah.
So the most narrow I'm ever gonna go is like my hip joint. So let's say a full wedge is like hips, and then every club from there I'm gonna go maybe half an inch until I get to driver. And so 7-iron usually has us outside the hips, kind of just a little outside shoulder width, and then drivers outside of shoulder width. Because the problem here is that what we should understand, if you go and turn your, let's say, turn your right foot out, what that's gonna do is that's gonna help you rotate into the right side better, easier, open up the hip more. And vice versa, that stays straight, and we open up the left, it helps you rotate through better.
They should just, I mean, for their own body, just keep doing tests of which angle gives them the most turn. Oh, that gave me a lot more turn.
Exactly.
Just a little bit, yeah.
And I think for you, we want hip turn in the backswing.
Uh-huh.
So I'd be more focused on the right foot turning out a bit, not caring too much about the left foot.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's get the feet how we talked, and then just feel like you're getting a little bigger hip turn. And that hip turn might just come a little bit more easily without even trying.
So this is my wider feet stance?
Yeah, that looks nice right there. Good.
Okay, and I'm gonna try a little bit more hip turn.
Good. Good. Nice.
So that was more hip turn. I need to get used to what that does to my shots.
For sure. But purely right there, what that did, there was a couple things that changed there. One, your club speed increased, and it didn't look like you were really dramatically trying to swing harder. So let's try a couple more times.
Let's try to hit one good one with this more hip turn.
Yeah, so feet wider than they were initially, toes a little bit out. Right now, you're hitting it off the toe there.
Okay.
When you look up on the screen, just so you know, impact offset, that just means toe or heel. Positive number is toe, and anything more than 10 is too much towards the toe, and that's at 24. So that's like really off the toe. That's why it didn't feel nice. One more practice swing here for me.
That's the last one.
So can you hit me one more, please? And I want you to feel like you're gonna hit the heel on this next one. Okay. So same setup, feet are wider, toes out just a little bit, and then you're just gonna try to hit the heel for me. So you started at the club speed 79 miles an hour.
Right. And we are now
you've been 84, 85.
Nice. And I feel like I'm only using like 80% strength.
Good.
Right, just a little bit more hip rotation.
Because it's using the bigger muscles, the body to swing,
right,
not just your hands.
Yeah.
We talked about setup, we talked about, okay, squatting. So this, by widening your feet and having the toes turned out, it actually already kind of got us more hip turn there.
Right.
But I want to do a little drill here with just a resistance band to kind of help you learn how to push through and engage your glute a little bit more.
Sounds good.
So what I want you to do is I want you to put your club behind your back.
Okay.
Yeah, just kind of above the butt there. And so what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna just wrap this around, lift your hand up for 1 sec. And from here, I want you in golf posture. You're gonna go ahead and now you're trying to get into your backswing position, but you can feel I'm not gonna make this easy.
Right.
Okay, so go ahead and try to do a backswing here. So from here, I want you to try to fight
Backswing?
through my resistance.
Okay.
Do a backswing. Okay, good.
Okay.
Let's do it again. And on the next one, you tell me, where are you feeling this?
Where am I feeling the stretch?
Yeah, any kind of engagement,
Right.
whether it's through the feet, the leg.
The main thing I'm feeling is through one on my side here.
Okay,
There's tension, and also it carries a little bit down to the back of my,
glute there.
yeah.
Perfect. That's, as I mentioned, that's loading the glute, and that's why we look at Rory and all these guys
Right.
have big legs and glutes, because they use the ground, and this is loading into it. And so do a couple more, and then we're gonna take this off, and you're gonna try to have this sensation in the backswing.
And this is for what right now? Why are
So
we
this
doing
is still getting a little bit more engagement in the hip turn. But the other thing is that normally when you do a backswing, your knees, they go and essentially just kind of squat a bit too much. So you're doing that because that's just something you've developed over the years, not a rhyme or reason. Because right now as you're doing this, it's not like your hips can't turn.
Right.
You just never maybe knew how to do it. So when you go in a backswing, you kind of squat. Well, when your knees are squat like this and you try to turn, it's like, I can't go anywhere.
Right.
But right now, we see this right leg kind of extending, straightening. Now you're pushing through it properly.
I think the squat I was doing, I was turning but the wrong way.
So take this off,
Okay.
put the club in your hand, and I want to see you try to have that same sensation there.
That muscle,
So what I see right now, if you stay there, this leg is a little bit straighter than it was before.
Okay.
The whole purpose for this is that's helping you stay a little taller too.
Yeah.
So the best players, they're actually getting a bit taller in the backswing so that they can get down into the ground and push off for speed.
Yeah.
And if you're already, as you were, already down, well then in your downswing, you just jumped up early.
Right.
And then you kind of threw out your speed.
Right.
Well, and so many people say that I just don't have flexibility. But yeah, sure, some people are really limited.
Right.
But they just usually don't know how to do it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've always thought I've just given up on mobility.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the best way to kind of move into better mobility is like resistance training.
Right.
Having a band and like stopping you from moving the direction you want to go, and then you're actually engaging your muscles to help you do it. So then when the resistance band is gone, you're like, oh wow, that's a lot easier.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to just saying,
And I think it's very important because especially like I used to be a professional badminton player. I thought I was confident of what my movements are in my body, but I guess in golf, like no other sport really moves this way.
Yeah.
Right?
So rotation and exactly, we're moving in so many different planes and angles and things like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna really feel like I'm coming up on my backswing, and then I'm gonna also feel the stretch as part of my come. And I think by feeling all of that, my stance and my feet opening will have to be that in order to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we're setting you up in a good spot.
I mean, we're applying, like, it's gonna take some practice, hit it perfectly, but
That's not too bad of a hit, too, for going through a different setup change, going through some new hip mobility stuff. Usually we're gonna spend a little bit more time on the exercise and things like that, but you're already quickly able to take it into the swing. Yeah, of course, not perfect just yet, but
I mean, right now, so we're maintaining the same club speed, but I'm actually swinging a little bit softer. I guess I'm not trying to swing harder because I'm focusing on a new thing, but I'm swinging at maybe like 75% now, 70% I feel, and we're still maintaining the same club speed.
Okay, so right here I have a force pedal, but it's cutting away, and so we're just gonna put this under the point where we wanna be pushing into the ground.
Right.
What happens is, we put that under the ball of that lead foot, and so from here, really what I'm doing, I'm getting taller, I'm getting this kind of squish feel into this part of the foot, and I'm gonna go and kind of push off, is what's sending this lead hip of mine backwards over here.
So it goes from the front to the back.
And again, we gotta make sure that we don't talk about front as in toes.
Oh yeah, ball.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because if we are on the toes, then as you push, you pretty much just push straight up.
Right.
you don't have like this angle to push back on. So the ball, that's why the ball is important there, because now I can still, from my ball of my foot to my hip here, there's still an angle that I can push back. But as I get to my toes, now this angle is just straight upwards. Get up a little bit taller, feeling for you in that backswing. Ball of that foot here. And now as I feel, and it's gonna happen quick, as I feel that first press into that force pedal, I'm gonna push off it. And now that's driving this left hip back, which then really speeds everything up coming through.
Okay.
But if we just went into the heel now, I just can't use the ground to accelerate this club the way we want.
Makes sense. This is really fascinating, learning about how the body's supposed to move in golf. It's kind of like if you learn how you're supposed to work out, you can kind of figure out every exercise.
So in a perfect world, after we've gone and done our backswing, as I'm going into that ball of the foot, I am also rotating my hips. It's not like I just fall sideways and then try to do all my rotation. The rotation slightly happens as I'm going into the ball of the foot, push off and speed it up and finish it off.
Okay, let's give it a try.
Good, so just get to the top of the swing. You can even stop there and we'll just kind of feel a little bit of a pulse into that ball of that left foot.
So I'll pulse it like...
Yeah, exactly. And remember, as you're doing that, try to add just a little bit of rotation as you're pulsing into that foot.
So maybe I'll do 2 pulses at the top and then rotate through?
Sure. Good. So feel a little bit of the pulse as that's happening. Pulsing into it, but I need that.
You want the pulse with the rotation.
Exactly, and you'll also see that left knee starting to turn out a bit as you're doing that, as the arms start coming down. Yeah, start bringing the arms down, even when you're doing those little swings. I like to kind of feel the arms coming with it, just so I don't just like leave them up there and swing over the top. Let's see if you can add just a tiny bit more rotation.
Rotation as in?
As in falling. As you're kind of going down, you see how much you'll see this whole lower body doing this as I'm pulsing into
And what am I doing right now?
We just jump and we don't actually get rotation. So we do need to start the rotation a bit. Good. Nice. Cool. So let's take this off here. Go ahead and do a practice swing for me. And really what we're doing with this is seeing if you can, does this push off allow you to feel a little bit more whip? Good.
So fast.
And the thing is, your body right now isn't used to swinging that fast at the moment. We might have to talk about, okay, well, how do you engage the core better to keep you more balanced so that you're not just flying through here and you're like, I don't know how to control it.
One thing I have a question about this product is it does help, but I'm not sure if it helps if they do it by themselves at home, because there's still a wrong way to do it with the product.
Absolutely. Oh, there's a wrong way to do anything, right? You got to do it right, otherwise you think you're doing it. But as long as you kind of understand, and like a product like that, there's instructional videos on how to use it properly. But that's just meant to, it could be that, it could be rolled up Kleenex or something, just something to help you understand where the point is in your foot.
There.
Exactly, and then from there, yes, you got to do it correctly. Good. And backswing still looks really nice there too.
I'm still trying to come up.
Cool.
I'm definitely not doing everything 100%. If everything's 80, it's already going to be a lot better.
Absolutely. Ready to hit? All right, so let's see that same good backswing.
All right, let's see if we can do this. Put it together.
Yeah, contact really, but again, 87 miles an hour versus the 79 that you started. So that was a little bit thin, little toe.
I'm still feeling a little bit of tension just because it's a new swing, but I can do better.
88 mile an hour club speed.
Because right now I feel a little bit of tension, I think, which is reducing my club speed. I'm going to try to do one that flows through a bit more, and I think it'll be over 90.
Where's the tension?
The tension is when I'm coming up over here, I think because I'm thinking about too many things, I'm doing this. So I think I just need to relax it more and let the rotation go through.
Yeah, ball speed wasn't as fast on that one, just the contact.
But that one had better rotation. It was more effortless, I felt.
Essentially, we started with the feet being wider, really, because you can see you have so much more speed now. You got to have a way of being stable. Right, and strong. And then the toe just turned out a bit, helps it make it easier to load into that. And then guess what? Now we can use the ground and
If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to learn more from Nathan, check him out in our description down below.